Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Here we go tonight. Another big game for the Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. Another big game. They take on the Milwaukee Bucks at 8 p.m. The Knicks are one game above 500. If they win tonight, they'll be two games above 500, and they'll remain in that fifth spot. All-important fifth spot or sixth spot. You don't want to go below sixth. Be nice to stay in the fifth spot, because even if you're in the sixth spot, you got to play one of either Philadelphia, Milwaukee, or Brooklyn. You don't want to do that, right? You want to give yourself the best chance. The best chance is going to be in that fourth or fifth spot. It's your best chance of advancing in the playoffs. If you believe the Knicks are going to make the playoffs, which I do. So let's go ahead and break this one down, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks versus the Bucks tonight, 8 p.m. It's going to be a fun one because, both teams have blown each other out so far this season. I got my man, Uncle Fulio, here in the chat. We got Dominic here in the chat with us, too. Pretty sure we'll get some more people here. We're going to break this game down, talk about, who may or may not be here, what kind of strategies we want to use against the Milwaukee Bucks, and all that good stuff. And I want to let you know right now, before we even get down and dirty, as soon as we get to 4:45, this show is over, and we're going to segment and transition into another video, which is linked at the top of your YouTube chat. The name of the video is The Controversy. Disappointed at the deadline, and it features your boy, Uncle Fulio. So make sure you're ready for that one, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're ready for it. Let's get to the guys that's here in the chat. Let's start breaking down this game and see what we got to do to pull out a win tonight versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Uncle Fulio, since you got a little segment going on called The Controversy. Let's start with you. What's going on with you, man?
Salute Sam, Dominic, what's going on? Salute MBK family, salute the chat, salute Knicks Nation. Hey, I'm excited. Sam, definitely thank you for giving me the opportunity to feature my takes on the video. And guys, definitely go check it out because I don't hold back. You guys already know I don't hold back, but check out the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think. And I'm looking forward to tonight's game. It's definitely going to be a dogfight. So we got to go out there and show what we can do, and position ourselves better in the playoff standings for sure. Yeah,
it's going to be a battle tonight. It's definitely going to be a dogfight. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be a dogfight. Dominic, what do you think about tonight's game against Milwaukee? One of the toughest teams in the Eastern Conference.
I'm so glad you can ask me that. Honestly, I feel like I'm not sure if the Knicks can get the win. I feel like it's going to be a tough game for the Knicks. But honestly, if the Bucks win this game over the Knicks tonight, it would be a shocker. It would shock me if the Knicks lose. But honestly, I see the Knicks winning by like 8 points.
You think the Knicks going to win tonight by 8 points? Okay. All right. Listen, I'm going to tell you what. The first game we played and we blew them out by, 30 points, 20, 30 points. They came back and blew us out. I'm hoping that we have that same type of vengeance in our hearts. You know what I mean? Because the last game we played against the Bucks, we looked really, really bad. Julius Randle, it was the first day after the All-Star break. Julius Randle, admittedly so, said that normally after the All-Star break, he doesn't play well that first game back. And he did. I think he had 7 points, something like that.
Yes, he did have 7 points.
Yeah, 7 points. He didn't play well. I don't know what that's all about, his first game after the All-Star break. He said he doesn't play well. I don't know, whatever. But he played terribly, and I'm sure he's going to be on his get-backs and feel like, I need to get that one back. I hope that the Knicks feel that they can beat this team. I don't know. But I hope that they feel they can beat this team. That's the only way they can go into this game and be competitive. They've got to feel like they can beat them. You know what I mean? And when you watch the Knicks play the Bucks in that second game, it felt like they were drowning in arms and legs. You know what I mean? Because the Bucks have so much length. Anytime Julius Randle got the ball under the basket, they just surrounded him and like ate him up. You know what I mean? That bothers me a little bit. That bothers me a little bit because, you know, we just don't have a lot of length on this team. Mitchell Robinson is back. That's going to help, and it could change the game because we definitely seen in the first game where Mitchell Robinson's length was able to help us neutralize some of their length, you know. So that, I think, will definitely help. Andy, what do you think, man?
Yeah, what up, guys? You know, I think versus the Bucks, the tactic is already out there as a recipe for most of the NBA teams, which is, you know, fall back of Giannis and try to corral into the paint and stop his drive, right? So when defense is talking with each other and stopping that first step of Giannis, he's getting the kickouts. And then, you know, as soon as the kickout pass goes out, you have to go back to the shooters. If you can do it at least fast enough, or they're not going to be hitting those shots, I think you're going to be fine and you can get a W, even if you're, you know, one of the worst teams in the league. Otherwise, if they're going to be hitting those threes, or Giannis is going to have an easy way going to the paint, it's a totally different, you know, ball game, and you have to be really, really lucky to get a W.
Yeah, and that really is the key. Being able to clog that paint and then get back out on the shooters. You know, that's kind of the key to beating this team. Now, if they're not hitting shots that day, it's going to be easier for you. If they're hitting shots, it's going to be a lot tougher for you because it's virtually impossible for anyone to guard Giannis one-on-one. But is it a smarter strategy to guard, you know, just guard Giannis straight up? I don't want to say smarter strategy. Can you guard Giannis straight up and then just clog up the shooters? You know what I'm saying? Take away those passing lanes to the shooters, stay on the shooters, and let Giannis go one-on-one. Can that work?
Well, yeah, if you ask me, there were a couple of players only in the NBA that we saw that could have at least a little bit of success versus Giannis. And I don't know if you guys recall, but defensively, great games versus Giannis. The guy that was on the Knicks had great games versus Giannis defensively was Noah Vonleh. He was a strong dude, basically, you know, all game in a defensive stance. He wasn't an offensive weapon. So, you know, that was really hard, you know, for him game, but he could do it. But that was like 2-3 seasons ago, right?
Right.
So imagine, you know, him growing, you know, building up his body. I don't think even Noah Vonleh could stop him now. So that's way, you know, bigger of a difference, because Giannis was 2 years ago. He had like, you know, at least 20-30 pounds less. So, you know, that's a huge difference. And, you know, we see the evolution of Giannis's outside game. He's taking those shots. Sometimes he's even making them. So, you know, that's also a threat. But at this point, I think you let him shoot those threes. Even he hits like 2-3 a game. Mm-hmm. You just got to live with it. I don't think it's even worth to, you know, get outside, just guard him from the free throw line, you know, and lower, and you know, just try to read the first step.
Yeah. What about you, Josh? Do you think it's possible for the Knicks? I'm sure there's teams in the league that have someone who can, you know, at least make it tough for Giannis, and he's not just going to blow right past you. Do we have the ability to just say, you know what, we're going to go one-on-one with Giannis and cover those shooters? Try to make him shoot mid-range shots.
I don't believe we can. I don't believe we have anybody that's that much of a defensive stopper to stop Giannis one-on-one. And even if we did, the Knicks have to be able to close out on the shooters. We've seen times at times during the season where the Knicks play straight up. They really don't double as much as other teams, and they're playing one-on-one with the rest of the shooters out there, but they just don't close out. So even if we, if we do go straight up and we play Giannis one-on-one, we just got to be able to close out, not let these shooters get any type of space. Because we've seen the Knicks, they haven't been doing that well as far as opponents' three-point percentage. Opponents are getting those shots off and they're knocking them down. So as long as the Knicks are able to close out, I guess a one-on-one strategy could work. But I just don't see the Knicks having anybody out there that can stop Giannis one-on-one. He's too explosive and too strong and long to be stopped.
Right, and see, one of the things that they do with Giannis is they have Giannis in the center of the floor a lot of times. And then they have the shooters in the corner and on the wings, right? And that makes it difficult because he has that entire center space to penetrate down the lane, right? So if you stay close to the shooters so that you don't have to, go get out to the shooters, he has the entire lane from the almost the 3-point line. From 3-point line to 3-point line almost, right? From side to side, almost that entire lane to penetrate to the basket, which just gives too much space for him to go around you, right? When you have him in the center of the court and then a player in either corner and a player on either wing. If you can find a way, which you can't because the offense is going to dictate where they stand on the floor and where they position themselves on the floor. But if you could find a way to only allow Giannis to penetrate from a wing, that helps you because it cuts off an entire half of the floor. But it's almost no way to do that because he's going to, they're going to put him in the center of the floor. Now, maybe, let's say they put him in the center of the floor and you're guarding him, you're Julius Randle. And you force him to his weaker hand, right, which is probably his left hand, okay? And then with his weak hand, those guys that's on that side of the floor, you stay tight to the shooters, right? And then the guys that's on the opposite side of the floor, the right side of the floor, remember, you force him to his weak hand, so you force him to the left side of the floor. And then you have the guy that's all the way in the right corner, you have that defender sagging off into the lane. And then when Giannis goes to the basket, you have that guy bang over there and try to double team when he's making his move to the basket. Now Giannis has to go with his left hand and pass it all the way across the floor, right, to the right corner. Because you can't pass it out to the left to the left corner because you're playing defense on that defender. You can't pass it out to the right wing, to the left wing, because you're playing defense on that guy, right? So you're having the farthest guy come to double and making Giannis have to kick it to that farthest guy, and then that defender has to get back out to that farthest guy. I don't know. I'm just it's just something that I'm just a scheme, a defensive scheme. But then Julius Randle has to be good at forcing him to the weak hand. Right, and making them have to make that pass with the weak hand. Don't let them pass with the strong hand. Let them pass or force him to pass with the weak hand and see if he can go past you with the weak hand. You know what I'm saying? It's a strategy. Much easier said than done, obviously, right? Because you're talking about a supreme athlete and a supreme player. But again, just to break it down so people could hear and understand what I'm trying to say, since they like to put Giannis in the center of the floor, one way that you could possibly take away half of the floor from Giannis is by forcing him to his weak hand, which I'm assuming is his left hand, forcing him to his weak hand. When he goes left, the defenders stay with the shooters. They don't help. They stay with the shooters. Julius Randle now has to stay in front of him as he's going left. And then you have one of the defenders on the right side of the floor come to double as Giannis is making his move to the basket. right? So what you're hoping is that the defender in the right corner can come along the baseline and stop Giannis from penetrating that way. Now Giannis has to try to make a tough pass to that right corner, which is going to be a tough pass to make because he's got the baseline out of bounds line that he's got to make sure he doesn't hit, or he's got to turn back the other way and find that guy over in the corner. You know, which now the guy who's defending the right wing, he has to kind of play the middle of the floor, play those passing lanes and watch the right corner and watch the right wing. It's a tough task. It's a tough task. But if you can make those kickouts as tough as possible for Giannis, then maybe it could help you. I don't know. Maybe hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say in that scenario. Yep. But Andy?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out how the Bucks build it up the squad around Giannis. All of their power forwards and centers can basically shoot from deep. That's because, you know, they're going to anticipate that the center is going to stay in the paint to help out, you know, the power forward or the small forward that's going to guard Giannis, right? That meaning Brook Lopez is going to have plenty of time to pull up that shot from the corner or from the wing. Depends on, you know, what kind of what way the play is going to pan out. If he's going to be on the corner or they're going to do that screen out and flash for the other guy, right? So they added Bobby Portis, which can shoot from deep.
He's out.
They have. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, they have that squad built in exactly the mindset that when you said, you just think that the second, you know, like the response from them is going to be adding that high, you know, 3-point shooter so he can help out Giannis. And if Giannis is going to have a problem beating his first guy up in the paint, they're going to try to do a screen. And, you know, that's going to allow him to get that a little bit split second. And with his long strides, it's going to, you know, make him available, right? But then the defender is going to be close to be able to help out. So, you know, it's like you got to pick a poison, basically. And you just gotta go with probably one tactic at this time. The other time he comes out from the bench, just switch it up so he doesn't have, you know, his counter prepared for it. And then just, you know, cross your fingers and hope they're not going to be making shots.
Can I add something to that also? The Knicks defense is basically designed to give up long 3-point shots. That's what it's designed to. It's pretty much designed to do.
Yeah.
So I believe the Knicks are gonna, you know, limit those easy baskets inside. We have Mitchell Robinson back. We didn't have him the last game. We had him during the first game when we won. We beat them by 40 or whatever the case may be. But not having Mitchell Robinson was pretty big in the last game, you know, due to injury or what have you. And I think, you know, with Mitchell Robinson there to clean up the glass for whatever misses, I think we limit their second chance opportunities and we're able to, you know, get back on offense. So.
Yeah, and you know, like Josh pointed out, we didn't have Mitchell Robinson in the last game we played versus them, and Brook Lopez had like 13 or 15 points in the first quarter.
Yep.
Because, you know, Netherlands wasn't able to, you know, stretch out his defense to the 3-point line, so he hit like 2-3 threes, then get a bucket inside, and that was, you know, basically the game. Even after the first quarter, they had such a lead that they was just controlling the game.
Right. It's going to be a tough one. Like you said, Andy, I agree. I think you kind of got to pick your poison with these guys. I'm hoping that Derrick Rose is going to be back. I believe that Derrick Rose he was active last game. I think he could have played if they wanted him to, but he's still getting in shape, still getting his breathing right, getting his endurance back. And if you know anything about COVID, it attacks your lungs. So those are some difficult things to deal with. Hopefully he's back, though. We can definitely use him. Glad Mitchell Robinson is back. Reggie Bullock, to me, is a guy that we really need to have back. Really got to have Reggie Bullock back tonight. I haven't seen any kind of a report from the Knicks to say, who's in or who's out for tonight. But Reggie Bullock is such a key cog on the defensive side for us. Being able to chase guys like Chris Middleton around off of screens or Dante DiVincenzo around off of screens. I hate when RJ has to do it, because, I mean, he's a good defender, but he's not really fast. He doesn't have the kind of body that allows him to slip past screens and those type of things. It's much better for Reggie Bullock to chase those guys around. Let's say Reggie Bullock is not here today. Does Tom Thibodeau go with Frank in the starting lineup next to Elfrid Payton again? I'll start with you, Andy.
I'm guessing he's gonna go. Yeah, I'm guessing he's gonna go with that because, like you said, they have those guards and those plays set up that way that they go off screens or run really fast, run those guys off of the plays just to catch the ball from Giannis and just pull up. So if you're not gonna be fast enough with them, they're gonna have open shots. And just let me point out a quick fact, because I was checking this and discussing with my friends here in Poland about the plus minus stat. Do you guys know that Dante DiVincenzo he's number 4 in the NBA in this season in the plus minus category? Number 4 out of all of the players in the NBA.
Wow. Okay.
So
wow.
that was a surprise stat for me, when it comes to him.
I've always liked DiVincenzo. He was a guy that somehow I was hoping that the Knicks would land him in the draft. I just like his game, and he's a guy that maybe in a couple years could be a fringe all-star. I think. He's athletic. He can shoot the basketball. He can play defense. He's a baller, man, and he's a guy you really got to watch out for. Another reason you really need to have Reggie Bullock in this game. Are you afraid, though, if he does start Frank, and I agree, he might start Frank, one, so he can keep Burks in that second unit, to be that main scorer in the second unit. I've never liked the way he's looked in the starting unit. Not that he's doing anything wrong. I just feel like there's too many guys that have to dribble the basketball to get something done when he's with that starting unit. Now, when you get into the game, you get down the stretch, it seems to work its way out. But are you concerned about the offensive side, that we just don't have enough when you have Mitch, when you have Elfrid, who can score but can't shoot, and then you got Frank, who really is just going to rely, he might be hitting a three, he might not. He's not going to attack.
And Sim, that's going to be a huge problem because when you have Elfrid and Frank, your guards don't stretch the floor. And with Giannis on the defensive end, he can cover up at least half of the court. So if you're going to isolate Julius on one side, then the other side has to have shooters that can make it. If they're not going to be making it, it's going to be a waste of a game for Julius and for the whole team. So that's why when we won the first game, Frank had 4 threes. So that was the key, that when we stretched the floor on offense and we made it, even Giannis couldn't stop us.
Right.
When we didn't make the shots, we were down by 20 in the first quarter. So.
Right.
I've been concerned about the offense the entire season. I mean, I just think, even if Bullock is back, he's streaky. I mean, lately he's been playing really well, but he has these games where he takes off. Same thing with Alec Burks, and Frank, he's kind of hit or miss as well. So we definitely need, someone to step up and knock some shots down in order to, help us get over the hump. But offense, that production on offense has been a problem the entire season. So we just got to hope that Milwaukee's able to miss their shots and we're able to get hot. And Randall and RJ have to be on that game. They've been really consistent lately. Randall the whole season, RJ in the last 20 games or so. But that we need that third person to step up and knock these shots down. Lately it's been Bullock, but if it's Frank, then I'll take that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been Bucks and Burke actually. Have been especially Burks. Last 5 games, Burks averaging over 20 points per game. Shooting a really high percentage from the 3-point line. It's almost like since Tom Thibodeau, that one game with Tom Thibodeau gave him point guard duties, He's really been hot since then. And I guess even before then, but, he's really been hot for us the last few games. And if he can continue to play like this, it's going to mean so much for this team. If he continues to play just good basketball and shoot well from the field. Definitely need him tonight to do so. Are you worried about Julius Randle's thigh? Either one.
No. I'm not worried about Julius Randle's thigh. He's an all-star, and I think he's going to be an all-NBA player this season. He's been stepping up the entire season. I'm not worried about Julius Randle. He'll fight through it. He's a champ.
Yeah, me too. I think, if he can walk, he's going to be in the game.
Yeah, I know he's going to be in the game. But, if he has a bruise on that thigh, that's like a critical, your thigh is a critical component to your explosiveness, right? And if every time you try to push off and you feel that pain in that thigh, you may not get the same power or the same spring. Hopefully that thigh isn't really injured, because that is a critical component to your explosion. Your thighs are. So hopefully he's good. Hopefully he's good. You see, he really had it iced up the last game. Listen, we know that he's going to play. I just hope his legs are going to be strong enough to explode, because we're going to need the best of Julius Randle tonight to have a chance to win this game. Right. Big shout out to Eric Gonzalez. Thank you for the super chat. He said Burks has 4 straight 20 plus games. True. 4 straight 20 plus games, but one game was at 19. So you can basically say that was 20 as well. And he has not been a liability defensively, but we'll need to get offensive production from an unexpected source. That's the key. An unexpected source. Maybe. We haven't seen, I don't think we've seen where these two teams meet in the middle yet. Right? Well, I don't want to say I don't think we've seen. Obviously, we haven't. The Knicks blew them out. They blew us out. So hopefully this is the game that meets in the middle and we get a better understanding of how these two teams can match up. That's going to be, we'll see. And then big shout out to, I can't even read who it is now. But he said, all right, cool, G. I don't even know what that was. I'll come back. Let me see who that was. I'm not exactly sure who it was who gave that super chat. That was Bob Teflar. He said, all right, cool, G. I don't know who he was talking to, but all right, cool, Bob. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Let's take a look at, we can't really take a look at the injury reports yet. Last night versus the Celtics, Bobby Portis was out. I think he's going to be out tonight. PJ Tucker, he's day-to-day, but he was out against the Celtics. We'll see if either one of those guys are back tonight. I don't know the reason that Bobby Portis is out, but, he may be out.
That's good for us then, because he always has good games versus the old teams he played on.
Old teams that he plays for, played against, right? That's kind of his MO.
Yeah,
kind of his
but
MO.
In a couple of years, it might be half of the league, so he's gonna be a good player.
Right, exactly.
I think one of his eyes popped out his head.
Right. As soon as he makes it on every team in the league, he's gonna be an all-star. That's it. He's got to play for every team in the league. Then he'll be an all-star because he'll always be playing against a former team. That's how he's got to do it. For the Knicks, this is what we have so far. This is from ESPN right here. Reggie Bullock, he's questionable for tonight's game against the Bucks. Elfrid Payton, he's probable for tonight against the Bucks. Julius Randle is day-to-day with that thigh, but you pretty much know he's going to play. And then Nerlens Noel is questionable against the Bucks. I think losing Nerlens Noel, if he doesn't play, I think that's going to be important, right? Because he's, he's another guy for our team that's lanky. He may not be big, so it's hard for him to deal with Brook Lopez down low or any other big guy down low. But his length, sometimes, helps us, obviously helps us to get blocks. Nerlens Noel has shown that he can defend a little bit on the perimeter. So he's, he can help rotate out to some of those shooters. I think, we definitely miss Nerlens Noel. Taj Gibson has played good for us. He played good against Washington the other day. So if he's out there, we can expect that he's going to battle for us. But, he's not as long as Nerlens Noel. He's a little bit stouter, a little bit shorter and stouter than Nerlens Noel. We would need, going up against the Bucks, I'd like to have Mitch and Nerlens Noel out there on the floor to help us with that length. But if he's out, we're going to have to deal with Taj, and Taj is going to have to hassle with those guys. The one thing that Taj is definitely stronger than stronger than Nerlens Noel, so he can deal with Brook Lopez a little bit better. Right? A little bit better. So that's that's a good thing. Looking at the lineups, Elfrid Payton, he'll be the starter for tonight. And I forgot the I in Elfrid's name. I can see that. But Elfrid Payton should be starting at the point guard spot. It's either going to be Reggie Bullock, Frank Ntilikina, or Alec Burks, who starts at that shooting guard spot. Shooting guard / small forward, wherever you want to put it. RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Nerlens Noel. And then for the Milwaukee Bucks, you got Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I only put Giannis because his last name is really long, and I didn't want it to go off the page. Then you got Brook Lopez. Right, and then you got Brook. All right, so that's what the starting lineups could potentially look like today. I know it seems like Frank is probably going to be the one who starts for Reggie Bullock. I just don't know if Tibbs was happy at the start versus the Wizards, with the way the game started. And maybe he chops that up to, you had the whole trade deadline and all of that stuff, right? So they had to get over the trade deadline and took them a quarter or two quarters to get themselves together. Hopefully he just kind of chops it up to that. Or maybe he's going to just kind of chop it up to that. And we'll see Frank Ntilikina out there starting tonight. Hard to say. We'll see with Tom Thibodeau how he wants to go with it. Looking at the numbers behind this game here, the Bucks average 120 points per game. Right? And of course, that's a. I know we have one of the top defenses, if not the top defense in the league. But on any given night, any offense can be better than the best defense if they're clicking on all cylinders. You know what I mean? You see it in the NBA all the time. Someone plays great defense, but the offensive player is just, they're on that night. And no matter how much you're hanging all over that guy, they knock it down. They knock down the tough shot. This is a team that we know they can light it up. 120 points per game. That's a scary prospect when you're going up against these guys because you know what they can do scoring wise. They average 48 rebounds a game. We average 46.1. They average 26 assists. We average 21 assists per game. We're both around 7 to 8 steals per game. Both around 4.6, close to 5 blocks per game. Both teams around 13 turnovers per game. The Bucks shoot 48% from the field. The Knicks shoot 45%. The Bucks shoot 39% from 3. The Knicks shoot 37%. But the difference, although the percentage is close, the difference between the two teams is, of course, number of shots taken. right? And that's been something with the Knicks all season long, and what so many people ask about when it pertains to the Knicks, right, is do they need to take more 3-point attempts? The Milwaukee Bucks, they take 37.7 attempts per game. All right, right now the Knicks, they take 28.5 attempts per game. You know, I think the last game, what did we take against Washington? 30 attempts against Washington. So we're shooting a decent percentage. But the question always is, are we shooting enough? Against the Wizards, last game we shot 28 times from the 3-point line. All right, last game we were 25% from the 3-point line. We were 7 for 28. Now, previous games we've shot 30, we've shot 32, 33. I don't know if I've seen us get up to 40 3-point attempts in one game, not like other teams have. You know, so that's always, you know, we make about 10 3-point shots per game. 10.8, almost 11 3-point shots per game. You know, you got teams who shoot a worse percentage than us, but still make 13, 14 per game. So they're still outscoring us by 12 points as far as the 3-point shot is concerned. You know, so I mean, you know, that's an issue that I don't know. What do you guys? Just really quick, Andy. Do we need to take more? Do we shoot well enough where we can take more?
My key to this game is going to be the 3-point makes, like you said. It's not going to be the percentage. Probably it's going to be the 3 points. Which team is going to make most 3-point shots is going to win the game. I think that's like the given stat for this game. And I don't care who's going to make them from the Knicks. As far as they're going to be falling in a reasonable clip, I'm going to be happy with it. So, you know, I don't even care if they're going to be good shots or bad shots, because versus, you know, the Bucks, we just have to make those threes. I don't think if we would go into the paint and try to outscore them from the paint versus their 3-point shooting, I don't think we're going to have a chance at playing that kind of game. So, you know, it has to be 3-point shooting tonight.
Yeah. What do you think, Josh? Do we need to up our attempts?
Well, yeah, definitely. With Reggie Bullock being Reggie Bullock's not in the game. I mean, he's our best 3-point shooter, and if he's not there, then we definitely got to be able to match that level of production from behind the arc. And, you know, can we be able to do that? That's the big question. A lot of times, you see when Frank is in the game, and a lot of times he's very hesitant to shoot the ball. Actually, Thibodeau in the last game was getting on him for not, that they were, I think we got a shot clock violation or something like that, and Frank didn't shoot the ball. So he needs to be aggressive, take the shot when it's there, as well as everyone. We need to take the shot when it's there and try to, match up with these Bucks. But I just think, we definitely need to take a little bit more 3-pointers. I'm not saying go crazy with it and, jack up, 7 seconds or less, Phoenix Sun style, but we definitely need to be able to just, get some more shots up. The more shots we get up there, I feel like the more we can make, as long as they're good shots.
So then even if the percentage dips some, you think taking more shots is going to allow us to make more, even if the percentage dips?
Yes, because then you get more points per game. You get more of a, points per game. And I think that's the big thing for me. That the reason why I'm concerned about the offense, because, we just don't score as much as other teams. We haven't been able to go back and forth and be able to get those 120-point games consistently. Because we just don't, we don't have that, our offense is too slow. We don't take enough shots. So I think if we get some more shots up, I think that'll definitely help us out, particularly tonight.
Yeah, but Josh, I kind of agree with it, but I also disagree on one point. Like you said, it can't be just 7-8 seconds or less. It has to. You can take a 3-point shot, just try to get the open one, right. And us taking shots in under the 7 seconds or less thing, it's going to be bad, because that's going to be the fuel for the engine for the Bucks, because they can run with you.
Pump the fast break.
Giannis alone can run.
Yeah.
So you can't give them the chances to run. And I understand that sometimes if you're going to be looking for that 3, they can play the passing lanes and still get turnovers on the Knicks and just head up the court and get a fast break point, right? But I still think getting the amount up, but not necessarily fast in the shot clock.
Yeah. And of course, I'm thinking on the way that I believe Tom Thibodeau thinks about the 3-point shot is that if you, like you're saying, you just come up and get a quick shot up, it's going to lead to a long rebound, which is,
an outlet. Yeah.
An outlet pass to a fast break. Right. And that's essentially what it is. Those long rebounds. If you don't corral that long rebound, it's an outlet to a fast break because those rebounds come out to about the 3-point line. You're already 1/4 of the way up the court. Right. And if you haven't practiced having your guards be ready to grab those long rebounds, you could be in for, some trouble. So I do think, Tom Thibodeau, the reason why you see less 3-point shots is because he kind of likes a little bit more of a controlled game. Big shout out to CL Kenrick. Thank you for the super chat. He said, Giannis can still kill us, though. No matter the Bucks lineups, we must keep Giannis in check. That's how we won game 1 in the season series. Yeah, that's a much easier thing to say than to actually do, right? Because Giannis is, a former MVP of this league. So, it's not that easy, but I understand what you're saying. All right, coming back to some numbers behind the game. Milwaukee averages 48.7 points in the paint. We average 46. Both average about 13. They average a little bit more second chance points than we do. And they average 15.4 fast break points per game. They are led by Giannis in points, rebounds, and assists. We are led by Julius Randle in points, rebounds, and assists. So those two guys, two all-stars, going to be going head-to-head. Then you got Nerlens Noel, who leads in blocks at about 2 per game. And Brook Lopez leads, the Milwaukee Bucks with 1.36 blocks per game. All right, so, this a good test for the Knicks to see if they can deal with a competitor, a contender in the Eastern Conference. Let me get to a couple of phone calls, and then I just want to remind you first, subscribe to the channel. All right, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so now. Smash that like button right now. If you like this video, just go ahead and smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Remember, when we get up to 15,000 subscribers, and we're almost there, we got 4 Obi Toppin rookie cards to give away. All right, so a few lucky subscribers. So make sure that you smash that like button. And at 4:45, ladies and gentlemen, exactly 12 minutes from now, Uncle Fulio, Josh here, who's on the panel, you're going to get to see his first video. It's going to preview at 4:45. It's called The Controversy. Disappointed at the deadline. Did the Knicks miss out on opportunities to get better? And I have that link. The link is actually pinned to the top of the YouTube chat, and I'll put it back in the chat just before we get ready to go over to that preview. So make sure you're ready for that, ladies and gentlemen. We get to a couple of phone calls, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Caller, you live. What's poppin'? Caller, you there? Guess that caller missed the boat. Let's try it again. Caller, you live. What's poppin'?
What's up, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How you feeling?
Knicks fan, Giants and Yankees. Question.
Yeah.
Is Rose playing tonight or Mitch playing tonight?
Mitch
and
should
how
be.
come they didn't pick nobody up?
Mitch should be playing tonight. Not sure about Rose. All right. Not sure about Rose tonight.
I'm, all the time I see the owner, he don't want to pay them money to pick somebody up. Come on. In baseball, football, everybody picks people up, to put the team together. Well, what's wrong with this guy?
Well, they're trying to pick up Andre Drummond. They're going to interview with Andre Drummond. They might have already interviewed with Andre Drummond, It looks like Andre Drummond might make a decision today. It seems like right now it's coming down to the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Knicks.
Do you think it's going to break up the chemistry with the Knicks? You know, it's like you're sitting at the dinner table. Somebody else comes in that you don't even know. It doesn't look right. What do you think, sir?
You know what? It's up to Tom Thibodeau to make sure that it works. It could, right? Because you could start to have some guys disgruntled, like, yo, like we've been playing center all season long. We've been busting our butt, and then now you're bringing another guy. But you know that's basketball, and I think these guys are used to that. So we'll see what happens. Maybe today.
Plus nobody's playing great basketball now. The 76ers, the Lakers, everybody's having problems. But the Knicks are still trying to put it together. I watch all the games. I say, like Boston almost beat Milwaukee yesterday.
I think they did beat Milwaukee last night. Last night. Yeah, they won.
See, everybody has their days, but I just want to see the Knicks keep playing hard. It's like the old time. When they had Patrick Ewing and those guys, they were playing. They were close. They play a good team.
Yeah.
Now they got a team, but the owner talks about stupid stuff about a shirt. And then you got Phil Jackson talking about Carmelo Anthony. Come on.
Yeah, you know what? I hear you, bro. I hear you. We got to tune that stuff out and just focus on these guys, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you for calling in. Hopefully you call back soon, man. We got to tune all that out and just focus in on what's happening with the team. I love
that call. That was a great call, sir.
Yeah. I actually thought about bringing that guy on the show and just killing him. The guy that wore the Van Dolan shirt. I really did. Because he did that. The only reason why I didn't is because he was looking for attention, and I didn't want to give him the attention that he was looking for. That's the only reason why he wore that. There's 2,000 or less people in the stands. He knew that they were going to see that shirt and somebody was going to say something. That's the reason why he recorded the entire conversation between he and the security guard. Right? And the security guard said, hey, we will give you another shirt so that you can stay here and watch the game. And he refused it. He did it on purpose. And I wanted to bring him on just to cuss his ass out. Excuse my language for any kids out there listening. Because he did it on purpose. He did it, but I just didn't want to give him watch the game, Sam. Huh?
They could have just let him watch the game and not cared about the shirt.
If somebody came into my house or my store and it said, ban Simeon, I said, get the hell out. If I see somebody in the chat right now say, ban Simeon, I'm going to block you in the chat. I dare you to. You're getting blocked. Shoot. Talking about that guy was looking for attention. He was looking for attention. Anyway, back to tonight's game. We got about 7 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. Any last thoughts on tonight's game? Is Derrick Rose coming back? I mean, do you think he's coming back tonight?
If he does come back, I don't think he's going to play major minutes. Thibodeau is still trying to work him back in shape. Apparently he had COVID, so it's like it's not an easy thing to recover from and just come back. Karl Anthony Towns missed a bunch of games after having COVID, so it took him a while. So I think it's going to take Derrick Rose a little bit. I do expect him to see him within the next couple games or so, but definitely not any major minutes where he can be able to contribute on the level that he did prior to him going away from the team.
Yeah. What do you think, Andy?
Well, I think the same thing, but for a different reason. I think when Thibs decides to play you, he needs to know that you can go for 30 minutes at least, because we never know how the game can pan out, and he would be, I don't think he's able to think that straight. For example, in the third or the fourth quarter, that, okay, this guy's like 2 minutes to his limit, so I gotta, think about those minutes. Nah, he would ride the guy out till the end of the game. So I think he needs the confirmation from the medical staff that he can go for the amount of minutes that he thinks he can play. So if he's gonna be ready for 30 minutes, he's gonna get the green light. If he's ready for 27, he ain't gonna play.
Okay. Makes sense. I agree with you there. And Robert Brown just got banned from the chat. Robert Brown, you just got banned from the chat. Caller, you live. What's popping?
What's going on, gents? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
What up?
Hey, listen, I'm really hoping the Knicks get Andre Drummond here. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think it would be the right move. I've been thinking about it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I hope that they're able to get Andre Drummond here too. I think it'd be a good move. I mean, listen, he just does more offensively than what Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel can do. Where you take a little bit of a dip defensively, you might, but when you make it up on the offensive side, I think you will. And if you feel like, things aren't going the way that you need it to go defensively, you can always set them down and put Mitch or Nerlens Noel in the game. So,
absolutely, I'm a huge fan of Mitch. I'm really liking what Nerlens is doing too, especially on defense. But I just think it's the right move. You get him for free. Basically, it doesn't set him back financially. Really, they could still really do whatever they want. Free agency wise, this summer, next summer, this summer after that, they could always trade him. Just gives him total flexibility. He's 27. He's an 18 and 14 guy, and you sit Mitch down and you say, "Hey, listen, man, this is the way it is for now. You're the backup center. You put Nerlens, I guess, at the backup 4. Sit Obi down for the rest of the season, and look at that as a bench for the rest of the year." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got Mitch and Nerlens at the front court, Burks, IQ, and Rose. That's a pretty good bench, in my opinion.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good bench, man. We'll see what happens. I think that he might be, mulling. Well, I don't think. I think. Well, it's pretty much out there that he's mulling between the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Knicks.
Yeah,
that's good, tough competition for the Knicks, but they got a 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah, and it just gives them more options. It's the perfect blend between being, disciplined and aggressive. I feel like this is a move you make, and you bring them in, and in terms of like, oh, Mitch or Drummond, who's our long-term guy, you make that decision later on. That's a problem to deal with. It's a good problem to have. The only worry is, are we going to crush Mitch's confidence? And if that was going to happen anyway, then he's probably not the guy for us long-term anyway. But I think it would bring the best out in Mitch, and we'd probably turn Drummond into something, a year from now or something.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there, man. Really quick, because we got to get over to Josh's video. What's your prediction for tonight?
I think the Knicks are going to get revenge from last game. I think this is going to be a close game. The first game we beat them really bad. Second game they beat us really bad. I think this is going to be more like those games against the Nets and the Sixers. I think this is going to be a close game, and it'll come down to execution in the final minutes.
Okay. All right. Hey, I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate your call.
Take care.
Take care. Really quick, Josh, your prediction for tonight?
115-95 Milwaukee.
All right. Andy?
Well, I'm not gonna pick the Knicks as the winners for this game because it's gonna be really, a really hard game for the Knicks to win. But I don't think it's gonna be a blowout for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think we're gonna compete, And I just really hope that Julius Randle is going to use those pump fakes to at least try to get Giannis in foul trouble. Last game, I said that, he should do it, and he never did it. He went with those foul away, baby jumpers, and we got beat really bad. I think if he tries to dupe him and get those fouls, I think we're going to have a great game from him.
Yeah. And I see Robert Brown said he's back. I should ban him again. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is going to be a good game. I don't know who's going to win, but I think this is going to be a good game. I don't think there's going to be a blowout either way. I think it's going to be a good game. I do think the Knicks are going to come out motivated to win this game. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, 4:45. Thank you all for being here. Please head over to Josh's video. It's only 10 minutes long. 10 minutes longer, ladies and gentlemen. Head over to the video. I'm putting the link in the YouTube chat right now. And you should get a notification about the video as well. So the link is in the chat. Make sure you click on that link in the chat. Head on over to Josh's video that is about to start. I think if you click on it right now, it's probably got a countdown, like a 2-minute countdown going. All right, so make sure you head over there right now. It's also pinned to the top of the YouTube chat, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you all. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Check us out tonight after the game. We'll be back on about 10:45 or so. The Knicks play the Bucks at 8 o'clock. They're in Milwaukee. Out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you channel. I'm out of here. I'll catch you over on Uncle Fulio's channel.